Dearest ones, we often talk about the 3D reality and the 5D reality as we seek ascension. While it's important to distinguish the differences, as a quantum thinker, I'm also aware that this can keep separation consciousness in place. And of course, we all want to enjoy an integrated reality of higher consciousness, including everyone. Toward that purpose, an elevated state of being for all, I wrote the following blog on a mainstream news publication. It's been shared thousands of times, and we could say it's gone viral. So the message is striking a chord with kindred spirits who yearn to live in the light. I'm grateful and honored to share it with you now. My intent is to inspire all of us in the possibility, or I should say the probability, of the collective shift to higher consciousness happening sooner than later. In fact, it is happening right now. There is a new mainstream out there, and you're probably part of it. Who are the people of the new mainstream? What do they want? What do they know? What are the economic, social, and political implications of this rapidly rising tide? I'll tell you why I had to write this. I've encountered a phenomenon that needs to be shouted from the rooftops. There's a burgeoning underground narrative going on, and it's time finally for it to surface. In fact, it astounds me that marketers, business leaders, political strategists have remained totally unaware because it's huge. After being interviewed on hundreds of radio and TV shows during the past few years and listening to at least double that number in preparation, I had to ask myself, was there a larger purpose to my experience on all these shows? What was I being shown by the Force? Well, more than 500 interviews and 900 shows later, the realization isn't so startling. It may even seem obvious to us, yet it needs to be said. There's a new mainstream out there. You're probably part of it. I call it the consciousness crowd. Millions of people the world over are part of the new mainstream. It's defined neither by generation, by political credo, nor by religious creed. The new mainstream is defined by recognition that we are in a time of awakening to a new mindset, an expanded worldview, and yes, a higher level consciousness for humanity. The new mainstream is defined by a cosmic pulse of awakening, a new consciousness. Consciousness? Not exactly a phrase that gets bandied about in cocktail conversation and in boardrooms. Or does it? Who are the people of the new mainstream? Mystics among us. You don't have to know the properties of crystals or see aura colors to be part of the consciousness crowd. You don't have to be able to deliver a lecture on the principles of quantum physics. On my virtual media tour across cultures and countries, I encountered show producers, hosts, guests, listeners who are scientists and physicians, entrepreneurs and executives, celebrities and politicians, teachers, students, homemakers, architects, artists, accountants, and attorneys. All of them are talking about the leap to higher consciousness and how we can get there. Yes, really. What the new mainstream really means is you are waking up and you want the rest of the world to wake up too. I know I do. What the new mainstream wants. I want a new point of view. I had to ask myself, why are more and more people tuning into these shows? What are they gaining from it? I realized what people really want, a new point of view. The new mainstream craves conscious conversations beyond political diatribes, beyond fear-based marketing, glamorization of disease and drugs, beyond religious hypocrisy, and limited either-or silo views posing as thinking. The new mainstream desires a more profound, authentic connection to life, an acknowledgement of our literal interconnectedness, economic interdependence, and spiritual interrelatedness. The new mainstream wants politicians worthy of being leaders, voters who look at the person, not the political party, to determine the best leader, media who ask questions of substance that lead to sustainable solutions. The new mainstream wants health practices grounded in advanced energy sciences, nutritiously cultivated food that tastes good too, entertainment featuring characters who reflect the new consciousness, and education that teaches youth essential knowledge of our multidimensionality, of what I call the 5 natural faculties of quantum mind, intent, intuition, subtle energy, resonance, meditation. The new mainstream wants a different narrative where human rights don't require fighting for, and a world economy is not dependent on the military-industrial complex for it to thrive. They want an end to the hypocrisy of proclaiming values and virtues we aren't actually embodying and pretending that that's okay. They want intelligent media that displaces the horrific scenes looping on the local murder and accident reports, journalistically masquerading as news. The new mainstream wants more than finger pointing and seeks discussions, not of who's to blame, but what's at the source of bigotry, terrorism, political animosities, corrupt leaders, income inequities, so we can create real solutions. The big angel in the room. So why haven't economic and political strategists caught on? Perhaps because they're stuck thinking from fixed demographic and psychographics that the new mainstream simply doesn't fit into. Millennials, Gen X, Y, and boomers, and even octogenarians are all in for higher consciousness. The new mainstream is not just for people trying to make it either. People of great fame and fortune want a new consciousness too. Witness Pharrell's magnetic, meteoric appeal to millions of fans who want to be happy. Jim Carrey's commencement address to the Transcendental Meditation Community's Maharishi University. The clues are everywhere. The economic impact of the new mainstream appears to be untapped. Imagine what addressing the values and mindset of this audience could mean to commerce, to entertainment, to political ideologies, to the connection of humanity and our higher selves. Marketers, be aware. Please don't make the mistake of relegating the new mainstream to a subculture. Neti, not this, not this. New age? Not. Cultural creatives? Not really. Liberals? Not political. Mindfulness? Not enough. There's a Sanskrit phrase used to weed out what higher consciousness is not. Neti neti. It translates as not this, not this. Let's be clear. The new mainstream consciousness crowd is not just another name for New Age, cultural creatives, liberals, or mindfulness. New Age? It's not. It's short-sighted to trivialize the new mainstream by pigeonholing them as self-help, personal development, touchy-feely, or whatever muddled interpretations people have out there of the term New Age. Cultural creatives? It's not the same. The distinction cultural creatives was established in 2001 by a sociologist and his partner's psychologist to distinguish the growing psychographic that they called a, quote, subculture, end quote, based on differences in value sets and varying lifestyles, contrasted with conservative traditionalists and cosmopolitan moderns. These lines, however, are blurred in the new mainstream. Liberal, it's not political. There's a crucial distinction to be made here. When Michelle Obama wants better food for healthier kids, when Sting wants us to take care of our oceans, these are not political stances. This is awakened consciousness, aware of the grave consequences of poor nutrition on productivity and happiness of younger generations who will lead the future, and on the vital role of oceanic atmospheric health to every area of life, from commerce to creatures. Mindfulness, it's not enough. How wonderful that stressed out executives and hyperactive children are practicing mindfulness. Our quantum age is teaching us we do have to see life differently than we've previously believed, and we have to restructure our thinking. Mindfulness is a great start for personal awakening, yet not enough to characterize the emergence of the new mainstream, the consciousness crowd. We have to see the bigger picture. What the new mainstream is talking about. The content of the conversations is really about the same stuff you see elsewhere in the old mainstream. The state of the world, politics, relationships, money and health, business and career, purpose and meaning. The difference is not in the topics of concern. The difference is in the POV, the point of view. It's the context that's different. Paradoxically, the new POV does indeed expand the topics of conversation. People converse on topics ranging from the merging of science and spirituality to how we can think differently to have the world work for everyone. They discuss advanced energy healing, ecological inventions, intuition, and the power of intent. They speak about the monumental paradigm shift from the industrial age to the quantum age. They discuss, matter-of-factly, research on near-death, afterlife experiences, angelic realms, along with cutting-edge neuroscience, quantum discoveries of mind-to-mind and mind-to-matter connections, and the scientific evidence for the role of the spiritual heart in maintaining an experience of peace and well-being. What the new mainstream knows. Our collective state of being gives rise to the state of the world. The new mainstream knows that our state of consciousness, what we resonate, individually as well as collectively, is the fundamental and ultimate driving force of every aspect of life, giving rise to all of our actions and results. We are the ones creating all of it according to our habits of thinking and what we hold in the feeling tone of our being. Out of the consciousness closet. The new mainstream has the simplest and yet the most profound of all goals. To be happy, to know how that happens, and to become masterful at creating it for ourselves, for each and for everyone. Until now, the consciousness crowd has kept themselves in the closet. The closet is full and bursting. It's time now for the consciousness crowd to come out and recognize themselves, ourselves, as the new mainstream. The new mainstream may be the latest in crowd, but make no mistake about it. The desire for conscious awakening is not just a trendy idea. The new mainstream, the desire for conscious awakening, is here to stay. I send you love and light. I am Dianne Collins, creator of the Quantum Think system of thinking.